Time and money. Order what you need by 2 p.m. to get it delivered same day. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Is this the title?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL playoffs are set. The Chargers and Rams are in the wild card round. The Chargers will play at Houston on Saturday. The Rams will be at home next Monday night against Minnesota. Magic Johnson's NFL team, the Washington Commanders, will play at Tampa Bay Sunday night. First playoff appearance for the Commanders franchise in 5 years. The Commanders' 12-5 record represents their highest win total since 1991. It was a big weekend for Magic. On Saturday, Magic was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award at the White House by President Biden. The Lakers lost at Houston last night, 119-115. The Clippers are at Minnesota tonight. USC's women's basketball team got a 50-point win Sunday at Rutgers, 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals for USC star Juju Watkins. The Trojans are 14-1, 4-0 in the Big Ten Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Move.
First things first with Dominique DePrima at 6 a.m. Tavis Smiley at 9 a.m. Truth Time with Dr. Cornell West and Nina Turner at 12 noon. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show at 1 p.m. The D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show at 2 p.m. A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nee Quarterly Quartet at 4 p.m. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come.
Get out the way. Get out the way. Get out the way.
Tune in weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for the talk of the town. Only on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. Rock the house, y'all.
This sequence is repeated several times. Listen to it from a location midway between the loudspeakers.
This sequence is repeated a couple of times because we do 3 hours here every day. So we repeat the sequence a couple times. What a great first hour with Connie Rice trying to frame for us what this year is going to look like politically, socially, economically, and culturally. Going to be quite a ride for the next 4 years, and this is what the resistance looks like. This is what the resistance sounds like. So we did the first hour with Connie, just trying to, again, frame what the year may hold for us. I want to spend the next 2 hours trying to motivate you to make the most of this year, despite what you heard in that first hour. In our third hour today, storyteller, producer, and author Chloe Luvawezo with insights on how we can heal and redefine the stories of our lives for the next year. I believe that it's not just each of us has a story. More to the point, each of us is a story. Each of us is a story, and now is as good a time as any to refine and redefine the stories of our lives and maximize the moment that is 2025, and it's just a moment. It's going to go really fast, and so no time like the present to get started on making the most of the 12 months that are in front of us. But in this hour, as promised, a conversation with best-selling author, podcaster, and thought leader Carlos Whitaker, who's on to talk about how to tap into our own humanity, reconnect with each other, and rid ourselves of the bad habits that hold us back. I am delighted to have Carlos Whitaker back on this program. Carlos, Happy New Year. How are you today, sir?
Happy New Year, my brother. How you doing, Tavis?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I am doing well, and glad we made it on in to 2025.
That's right.
And excited about the days in front of us. Let me start with a couple things here, because I think that I used the word framing earlier. Framing is pretty important, particularly in this hour. But when I said a moment ago that I wanted to have you on to talk to us about how we tap into our own humanity, this is my sense. I could be wrong about this, and if I am, I'm sure you will disabuse me of this notion. But I believe this for a long time, and it's simply this: I don't believe that any of us ever comes into the fullness of our own individual humanity. We never come into the fullness of our own humanity if we cannot respect and revel in the humanity of everybody else. For starters, are we on the same page or not?
We are. You're already preaching to me, bro.
Okay. That's important to me because I fear that we live in a world, certainly live in a country, and over the next 4 years, we're going to see a whole lot more of this. This notion of people not reveling, not respecting the humanity of the other. It's not as if that's going to begin on January the 20th. That's the space we're in right now already. But my fear is that reality is going to, and I'm not trying to make you political. I'm just trying to set the bar here.
Absolutely.
My fear is over the next 4 years, we're going to see a whole lot more of that. Again, people not reveling, not respecting the humanity of the other. We saw that with Donald Trump the first time around. He behaves in that way, and he gives others license to behave in that way. So again, not to make you political, but that's the frame that I see for the next 4 years. How concerned are you about that reality that over the next, a few years, we're going to see a whole lot more disrespect of the humanity of the other, whether the other is black, whether the other is immigrant, fill in the blank. Take it away, Carlos Whitaker.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that it's news to anybody. All we got to do is look back 4 years and understand that, especially on a day like today, correct me if I'm wrong, that there was, if we look back to January 6th, we saw a lot of disrespecting of humanity.
That's right.
On that day. And so, this is not a clue phone to anyone that is on the left or the right. We just know that when somebody is in power and their verbiage and their words have such tremendous impact in our culture. And so what we saw during Trump's presidency, to be completely honest with you, is a lot of disrespect in verbiage. And so all that did was give people that already were maybe privately racist or privately looking at people that weren't like them with some disdain. It just gave them what's the word I'm looking for? It gave them the opportunity to step into that and be loud about it, right? Now, that we know that's going to happen because we just know kind of who we've seen it before, and we can't think it's going to be different. So what do? Well, we have a responsibility, to actually be the better human. We have the responsibility to step into kind of what you said, revel in other people's humanity. What does that look like? So what I have to do when I see somebody that maybe has some influence over me or influence over the sphere that I live in, I am going to do everything I can to do one thing. And that one thing that I'm going to do in 2025 is to be curious.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I'm looking at my clock here. Don't want to cut you off, but I have to. Be curious. We'll come to that point. Why is Carlos Whitaker on? Because Carlos is one of the best persons I could be speaking to, and you could be hearing at the start of this year, because he's written some pretty powerful books, and we're going to tap into all of them to talk about how we can tap into our own humanity, reconnect with others, and get rid of these bad habits. He's written a book called How to Human. Love the title, How to Human. 3 ways to share life beyond what distracts, divides, and disconnects us. Another book he's written, Reconnected, How 7 Screen-Free Weeks with Monks and Amish Farmers Helped Me Recover the Lost Art of Being Human. Another book, Kill the Spider, Getting Rid of What's Holding You Back. Who better to start this year? in dialogue with to help make the most of this year for you, for me, for all of us. You're listening to Carlos Whitaker right now, and I'm glad about it on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer Grocery.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done, which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund Advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund Advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or WebBank. Terms apply. Subject to approval.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Carlos Whitaker, 2 hours in front of us, trying to motivate you to make the most of this year. And Carlos is a best-selling author, podcaster, renowned thought leader. Delighted to have him back on this program. And just as things were getting good, I had to step aside for a second. But Carlos was starting to break us off with this notion of the one thing. If you don't do anything else this year, Carlos is suggesting there's one thing that each of us has to do this year. In a word, curiosity. Carlos is suggesting to us that we need in this year to be curious. Take it away, Carlos Whitaker.
Absolutely, Tavis. So curiosity, the reason why that's so important is I think what we saw, what we were talking about earlier during an administration ago, is there wasn't a lot of curiosity. And so when you're not curious, you just basically have a black and white idea of who somebody else is. Mm-hmm. But what I want to do is be curious, because this is what curiosity is. Curiosity leads to empathy. Empathy leads to relationship. Relationship leads to trust. and trust leads to change. But what we want to do is go straight from curiosity to change and don't want to do the work that's in the middle. If there's ever been a season in our country where people on the left and the right need to be curious about each other, because curiosity is going to lead to empathy, then relationship, then trust, and then change, I think that is going to be the ticket that can begin to heal us again.
For those listening right now who are asking, why should I be curious about folk who are racist, who are misogynist, who are autocratic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I use those words to describe the person for whom they voted. Why should I be curious about anybody who is in a mind frame that would allow them to support or elect someone like that?
Absolutely. Hey, listen, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, I lean way farther left than every single one of my friends. So what I'm actually swimming in on a daily basis is I am swimming in friends that are very close to me that voted for somebody that I didn't vote for. So I have a decision to make. I can either cut them off, or I can be like, you know what? I'm going to use my influence to see if there can be a little bit of change in them. And this is what happens, Tavis, every single time. What I want to do is stick my hand out and say, you're the enemy, because that's the easiest thing to do. But and so that's like a fisted hand. But if I open my hand, what that does is it leads to a relationship and a conversation. And what I've learned is that every single person that's misogynistic, that's racist, that's all these things that literally harm me and harm my family, those viewpoints came from a place of pain in their life. It is so hard for us to look past the pain point of somebody else, the misogyny, the racism, all of those things, and say, but why are they like that? Where did that actually come from? And you know what? That's going to take being a big boy or a big girl and actually swallowing a little bit of what we want to inflict punishment on other people and step in and go, this is coming from somewhere. And if I see them, this leans into my book, How to Human. I believe that every single human being is desperate to be seen, which is why they're racist, which is why they're misogynistic. They just want to feel power. They want to feel seen. So you know what I do? I see them. And even if I don't agree with them, they feel seen by me. And when they feel seen by me, there's just a tiny little window of their heart that opens up that allows me to get a little bit closer. And then I can't change somebody unless I got relationship with them. Once I get into that relationship stage, now that's when I can start to see the impact being made.
I've said many times, and for those who've listened to me or watched me over the years, they've heard this, no doubt, more times than I can certainly count. And that is that every human being, my view once again, every one of us wants to be loved. We want to be respected. We want to be acknowledged. We want to be affirmed, whether we admit it or not. Those things, to me, being loved, acknowledged, respected, affirmed, those things are part of the human condition. So here comes Carlos Whitaker adding to my list of things with people want to be seen. I don't disagree with that at all. As a matter of fact, I think you're onto something there. But talk to me specifically about that part of the human condition that each of us wants to be seen.
Yeah, we're all desperate to be seen. I mean, every single one of us. And so, you look at parenting, right? If you look at your kids growing up, like the reason why they throw a tantrum is because they want to be seen. The reason why a 78-year-old president will throw a tantrum is because he wants to be seen. Like things don't change, right? Our human condition is just desperate to be seen, to be valued. And what we end up doing is we do it for the wrong reasons. And so I think that what's really important for all of us to know is that, there's going to be people that I think that we can see that view the world through a different worldview than us. And there are going to be people that I think dehumanize, and maybe it's not going to be healthy for us to get into relationship with them. So I'm not out here saying like, hey, like let's all go, find people that are racist, find people that are misogynistic, and just go take them a coffee every week. No, like we got to be smart about this. But I do think that all of us are called to see people as much as we're desperate to be seen. Just like you said, Tavis, it's so good for us to remember. As much as we want to be seen, other people want to be seen. And the loudest people that probably get on our nerves the most are probably the ones that need to be seen the most as well.
You have some great phrases, and I want to just spend a few moments here sort of unpacking some of these, and I'll just throw them out there, and you take it as you will. But one of Carlos's books that we're talking about right now is called How to Human. Love the phrase, How to Human. 3 ways to share life beyond what distracts, divides, and disconnects us. So there's that phrase, How to Human. I suggested earlier at the top of this hour that we were going to talk about, as we are, how to tap into our own humanity. And then Carlos uses another phrase in this conversation that we are challenged to be the better human, to be the better human. Any way you define it or describe it, that's what we're talking about. How it is in 2025, we can find our way into being better humans. Pick it up from there, Carlos.
Yeah, we can find our way to be better humans by doing 3 things, I think, very specifically. The first thing, in order to become a better human ourselves, is I think we're going to have to lower the noise that we allow into our lives. I just don't believe that we have the capacity to pour out the goodness that we were intended to pour out, because we're just swimming in an ecosystem of rage 24/7. You know, and you and I talked about this last at the end of last year when we talked about my book Reconnected. But I just feel like we've got to lower the volume of life in order for us to have the capacity and availability to see people that don't look like us, think like us, love like us, vote like us, all the things like us. We're not going to even be able to do that until we take care of ourselves. So therapy, I think it's so important, you know, exercise, eating right. All of these things that I think are the baseline, the runway for us to be able to be our best humans, I think those things are very essential, and they're absolutely part of seeing people. But before we can see somebody, we got to be somebody, right? So, like, be fully human, lower the volume of life, let the volume of living go up. Then now you have the capacity to see people and maybe have some crucial conversations that you wouldn't have had the capacity to have before. So now we step into step 2 of How to Human, which is seeing human. So be human, now see human. See humans every single day. We got to work with people that don't think like us. We got to be in family relationships with people. I'm telling you, Thanksgiving is like World War III in most households because, you know, somebody's like, well, you know, this is who I voted for and this is why. And it's like, hey, before you step into that, go read my book, How to Human, and get that capacity up inside of you. Get curious about somebody. Allow them to feel seen. And then the third step, and I think this is the most important, Tavis, is freeing humans. So be human, see humans, and then free humans. I think every day, if we can find somebody to give a little bit of freedom to, all that does is give us more confidence that, you know what, there could be good in humanity that maybe I'm not seeing. One of the things that my social media loves to do is we raise money for a lot of people. We've raised over $1 million and given it to random strangers in the airports, waitresses at Waffle House, and nobody asks me before I raise that money, hey, can you tell me who they voted for before I Venmo? No. Because I believe every single human intrinsically wants to help free people. And so if you open the door for somebody, you know, on a daily basis, if you say thank you to the cashier at the grocery store, if you pay for somebody's gas, all of these tiny things, I promise you, are going to give you the breath inside of your lungs to be a better human.
I'm always fascinated by the backstory. Tell me a bit more about how, Carlos, you came into this framework of B, C, and free. I like it, but how did all this occur to you? B, C, and free as a way to human.
Yes, no, absolutely. So listen, I'm a man of faith. I make no qualms about it. And so where my faith comes from, I see on a daily basis this man that I follow in the Bible, and I see this is what he did. He just kind of walked around, and he saw people that weren't like him, and he freed people. And so I thought to myself, you know what? Maybe I just do that. Like, I can strip. I don't have to say a Bible verse. I don't have to say nothing. I just want to every single day see people that aren't seen and free people that need freedom. See people that aren't seen and free people. And you know what? It actually works. And so whether or not you're religious or not, if you do that on a daily basis, you're going to see not only your life improve, but you're going to see people around you, their lives improve as well. And I want to give credit, again, where credit's due to my father, 82-year-old Fermin Agustin Whitaker, a black Panamanian from Colón, Panama, that immigrated to this country in 1960 with $20 cash and a shoe shine kit. And my father is now Dr. Fermin Whitaker. And as a black man, I've seen him actually have to live this out every single day in a country that was not giving him a single handout. He had to work hard to get to where he's at. And so a lot of this comes from just my father and what he's poured into me and sowed into me as well.
Tell me, now you're teasing me. Tell me a bit more about your father, man.
Let me tell you. So my father, gosh, he's the greatest man I know. Again, like I said, 18 years old, $20 cash and a shoe shine kit. My grandparents sent their black son in 1960. He landed in America with $20 cash, shoe shine kit, shine shoes at LAX for 2 years, made enough money for one semester at LA Community College. Went to LA Community College after like learning English off of like the Andy Griffith show and like watching on TV. And then he like gets straight A's and gets a scholarship to the next semester at LA Community College. And then my father gets a scholarship to a 4-year university. Now he's Dr. Fidamine Augustine Whitaker. And this is what's beautiful about my father. My father now at 83 years old has dementia. And I've been blessed to be able to buy the house across the street from me here in Nashville. And I moved my mom and dad into that home, and I get to see him every single day and just thank him. Even though he can't necessarily even remember who I am, the joy that is inside of him, the human that is inside of him, still comes out when he looks at me and he smiles and he just says, "Thank you, son, for helping me." And, he may not even know I'm his son, but he knows I'm helping him. And, again, he's thanking me. He's freeing me. He's doing these things even while his mind is deteriorating. And so my father is a great man. He's done a lot in his life, and so I'm grateful to be able to take care of him now.
There's so many people listening, no doubt, right now. Certainly millions of Americans are in the same situation that you are in, where they find themselves in life. We all end up doing that dance with mortality. We will not escape that dance with mortality. But tell me a bit more, to the extent you feel comfortable, about how you are processing watching your father and interacting with your father when he at times may not even know who you are.
Yeah, it's hard. And the reason why I share about this, and I share about it on my Instagram, on my YouTube channel, it's quite simple, just like you said, Tavis. Every single one of us are going to go through this at some point in our lives. We are going to, I'm in that sandwich generation. I'm taking care of my parents and I'm taking care of my young adult kids. So I feel like I'm taking care of everything around me right now. And what I want to do is I want to make sure, especially with dementia and Alzheimer's, I talk about this a lot, is letting people remember that my father, although he may not remember who I am, he may not remember who his wife is, my mom, who's taking care of him every single day. Like, he is still him inside of him. And so this is what I do every day. How I try to human with my father is I try to remind him of who he is. So a lot of times I'll play a sermon that he preached in like 1985, and I'll play it for him, and he's like, "Who's that preaching?" I'm like, "That's you, Daddy." He's like, "Oh, I was good." I was like, "Absolutely," And so I try to find these moments to remind him of who he is, because he is still that inside of him. And this is when he comes the most alive. Sometimes, I'll walk out of the room, he'll look at my mom and go, "Who was that?" And my mom's like, that's your son. And he seems out of it. But then I'm like, "Hey, Dad, will you pray for me?" And I mean, just like it was yesterday, he's like, "Dear Father, Lord in heaven." Next thing you know, heaven starts coming down, because that man, I'm telling you, what you sow into your life, deep within you, your entire life, when you may lose your brain, when you may lose your facility, what you've sowed into your soul will always be there. And so that's why I think it's so important for us to be curious and, again, be kind and empathetic to other people, because when push comes to shove and it's our turn, I get to see what's happening to my father, that he still has goodness inside of him, and I want goodness to still come out of me.
Lord Jesus. His name is Carlos Whitaker, and I got so many responses I'd like to share with regard to what Carlos just said. I will hold them for a moment until we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, Get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available in both tablets and as a delicious gummy. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
I'm Bray Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A major winter storm that produced record snowfall in the Midwest is now impacting the Mid-Atlantic. The storm is causing major flight cancellations. According to FlightAware, over 1,500 flights have been canceled so far today, and over 1,900 have been delayed at last check. Today marks 4 years since the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot, where supporters of former President Trump stormed the Capitol, resulting in 5 deaths and the evacuation of lawmakers. Shamsuddin Jabbar, who drove through a New Orleans Bourbon Street crowd on New Year's Day, bought a semi-automatic rifle in Texas in November. The FBI stated he traveled to Egypt and Canada before the attack. And Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is resigning as leader of his Liberal Party, but will remain Prime Minister until a new leader is chosen. He made the announcement today. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Lowe's knows how to save you time and money. Order what you need by 2 p.m. to get it delivered same day. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes for same-day delivery. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL playoffs are set. The Chargers and Rams are in the wild card round. The Chargers will play at Houston on Saturday. The Rams will be at home next Monday night against Minnesota. Magic Johnson's NFL team, the Washington Commanders, will play at Tampa Bay Sunday night. First playoff appearance for the Commanders franchise in 5 years. The Commanders' 12-5 record represents their highest win total since 1991. It was a big weekend for Magic. On Saturday, Magic was given the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award at the White House by President Biden. The Lakers lost at Houston last night, 119-115. The Clippers are at Minnesota tonight. USC's women's basketball team got a 50-point win Sunday at Rutgers, 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals for USC star Juju Watkins. The Trojans are 14-1, 4-0 in the Big Ten Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And Black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
You okay?
I can't sleep with this cough.
Sounds like you need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with NyQuil VapoCool. It's NyQuil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
So you ready to get some sleep? Thank you, NyQuil VapoCool.
NyQuil VapoCool, the vaporizing nighttime coughing, aching, fever, best sleep with a cold medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of sugar.
Fabric Talk.
Hello, my love. I am your living room carpet. I see everything. I feel everything. After a while, I smell like everything, including Sir Pickles, who you snuggle with while binging that dating show you can't stop watching. So, how about we freshen things up with Febreze fabric spray? Oh, and a big spray for my pals, couch and ottoman. Ah, yes, refreshing. Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley on his first day live in 2025. Happy New Year to you. Delighted to be in conversation right now with Carlos Whitaker, best-selling author, podcaster, renowned thought leader. We're tapping into all three of his books. How to Human, 3 Ways to Share Life Beyond What Distracts, Divides, and Disconnects Us. Carlos has already shared with us that there are 3 things that we can do this year to human better. Put another way, to be better humans, to be, to see, and to free. That's our challenge this year. To be human, to see other human beings. We all want to be seen. And to free other human beings who need to be free. To be, to see, and to free. That's the takeaway from the book, How to Human. We started this conversation with Carlos advising us to be curious this year. I am a curious person. You can't do what I do every day, asking all these questions if you're not curious. And I don't do this because I have to ask questions to get answers. No, I do this because I am a curious person. And every single day that I sit in this seat for these 3 hours, I'm learning just as you're learning. And I say all the time, I leave this studio every day much smarter than when I came in because I am a curious person. You know that old adage, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. I like to be satisfied by learning things that I didn't know before I walked into this studio, and I'm learning in this hour from Carlos Whitaker about how to be a better human being as we move through this year, never mind the challenges that we know are in front of us politically, socially, economically, and for that matter, even culturally. But it was a moment ago that Carlos was sharing with us the story of his father, his beloved father, who now at 83 is wrestling with dementia. And there are days and moments he doesn't know who his wife is, doesn't know who his son is. And again, we all have to do that dance with mortality. And there are many of us who are wrestling with parents and grandparents who are in the same condition, same situation, as is the Reverend Dr. Whitaker, Carlos's father. But I was struck by the story you told because I've seen this happen in my own life. My grandmother, Big Mama, God rest her soul, was wrestling with some of this at the end of her life. And it was always fascinating for me to be around her. And she might not have remembered X, Y, or Z. But, if I start singing one of them church songs, one of those hymns, if you ask her to pray, if you started quoting scripture, it has always been fascinating to me, not just with her, not just with your father, but others I've been around. There's something about that stuff that is so deep inside of them that even as their mind takes leave from them, they are still connected through their spirit, through their soul, the way your father is. That is beyond fascinating for me. What do you make of that?
You know, I think it's deep wells. Deep well. Here's the thing, man. We live in a society and a culture where people are digging the most shallow wells in their life. And what happens when you dig a shallow well is you never hit anything good. You never hit oil. You never hit water. You work and work, but you don't hit the good stuff. I think there's a generation before us that had to, right? There's a difference. Like they had to dig deep wells. And so when you dig a deep well, that's where all the goodness is going to come out of you when you get in your 80s, when you get in your 90s. And so I think that's what I'm asking us to do. I'm asking us to dig deep wells because I I want it to pour out of me like it poured out of Big Mama, like you're talking about, like it poured out of my daddy.
Yeah.
I want it to pour out of me just like it poured out of them. And so I think that's what it is. I just think that they dug some deep wells. And proof is in the pudding when just like you said, when you asked her you start singing, one of those old gospel songs, or when you ask them to pray, the well is deep. That's why it's there. That's why it comes out.
That's great advice, y'all. Dig deep wells. Whatever you do this year, be curious. Dig deep wells this year, not shallow. But dig deep wells. I love the advice. I want to pivot now to one other of Carlos's books. We had Carlos on this program 2024 last year to talk about this book. But for those who may not have heard that conversation, I'm going to ask him to just top line here for a few moments what he learned that he shared in this book called Reconnected, how 7 screen-free weeks with monks and Amish farmers helped me recover the lost art of being human. This conversation now, Carlos, is likely more propitious than ever before because we're back in the era of Donald Trump. And what that means is that our phones are going to be pinging every 3 minutes. We already know this. It started on November the 5th, right? The day he won. The phones are pinging every other second. So here we are back in an era where the phone is not going to stop buzzing, not stop pinging. But Carlos had an epiphany when he stepped away from his screen. So this might be the best advice that I can give you for how to navigate the Trump era. Carlos, take it away.
Yeah, I lived with monks and I lived with Amish farmers, and I didn't look at a single screen for 7 weeks. Got my brain scanned before and after, and I realized very quickly after a few days, and we talked about this on your show before, after a few days of not having my phone, that I was addicted. Like I was coming off. I mean, it was like a drug. But what I realized very quickly is that the addiction wasn't to the phone. The phone is simply the needle. The addiction was actually to knowledge, which I was getting from the phone, which allowed me to believe that I was in some semblance of control. When that was the lie, right? The lie is that we're actually not in control. Like we think we are. We think our screens give us control. And so I ended up writing a book about all of these things that I learned from the monks and the Amish. Things like wondering. We don't wonder anymore. I believe that our souls and our psyche were not created with the capacity to consume the amount of content we consume. So we've lost the ability to wonder. Someone says, hey, Tavis, what was that thing that happened, whatever? We pull our phone out and our phones are the wonder killer, right? Like we have stopped wondering, but we just rewind back to the 80s. If we had to figure something out, we had to go to the library, pull up the encyclopedia. But I believe as humans, we were created to wonder. We were created to notice. We were created to behold. We were created to have presence and savor things and get lost and find our way. I'm telling you what, it changed my life, those 7 weeks. And let me tell you this. All of us that are feeling like the animosity whenever, a certain person will tweet something out and the blood starts boiling in our necks and we can start feeling ourselves let me tell you, that's only coming because we're looking at a screen. If you weren't looking at that screen, you wouldn't be getting angry. And so I'm not saying phones are bad. I'm not saying phones are evil. I'm just saying that we have to control them instead of them controlling us.
I love that phrase. Carlos is dropping bars. Our phones are wonder killers. That's a great line. Our phones have become wonder killers. Let me ask you this right quick. Since you had that experience of hanging out with the Amish and the monks, how have you approached technology? That is to say, the use of your smart devices. How do you handle that? Obviously, you still use them. To your point, phones aren't bad. The devices aren't bad. But how do you engage them differently now than you did then?
Yes, no, absolutely. Well, my screen time, just the amount of time I look at it has been cut in half, tremendously different. And the reasons why is because these are some things that I've done now, just very practical things that people can do. Instead of charging your phone next to your bed and using your phone as your alarm clock, actually get this thing called an alarm clock. We had them in the 80s, and all they do is they wake you up, and you don't pick it up and start rubbing its face and start touching its face. No, it just wakes you up in the morning. And try to spend the first 30 minutes of your day without looking at your phone. Studies tell us that the last 30 minutes before we go to sleep and the first 30 minutes we're awake, because we use our phones next to our beds and we're on our phones, we're consuming more content than my grandparents' generation consumed in a month. And so right away, what that's going to do, you get an alarm clock, that's going to give you a whole hour back of your life a day, which is 7 hours a week, which suddenly becomes, like a whole, it could become a week, a year that you get back just by doing that, right? So that's one thing. I've started, I subscribe to a newspaper. So, I get my news from the newspaper. I walk out in my front porch every morning, and I go in my yard, pick up the paper, and here's the beautiful thing. When I'm done reading the news, I'll find out what happens tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I've deleted the news apps off my phone, all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
I've just gone old fashioned, I make sure that my first cup of coffee, I don't ever take it to go in my car. If I don't have 4 minutes to slow down and drink a cup of coffee out of a ceramic mug in my own home, then I am moving too fast.
Wow.
And so I've decided to start drinking my coffee out of ceramic mug. Little things like that, bro, go a long way.
I love the practical advice. It's Carlos Whitaker on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Joe Fallon's bedroom mini fridge. Sure, this pint-sized chiller's max capacity is 3 soda cans, but what it lacks in stature, it makes up in cooling strength. Each beverage a perfect 37 degrees every time. And the 2 feet Joe walks to get a drink, priceless. That's why his mini fridge is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy the rinse straight. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years.
He was in big trouble.
We're going to take your house, garnish your pay.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm, and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau.
I don't owe the IRS anymore. It was because of Optima Tax.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is for all the folks who appreciate follow-through. Here's a quick recap of the KBLA Talk 1580 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. More than 6.4 million Southern Californians viewed our climate justice billboards and bus shelters. Another 1.5 million people listened to and or downloaded our weekly conversations with African American climate experts. Our KBLA Climate Justice web portal had 2.8 million unique visitors. Thousands more attended our 7 climate justice community events. More than 9.3 million riders saw our climate care messaging on metro buses and trains. And 39 million Americans accessed our C-SPAN Climate Justice Symposium. All told, our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign exceeded 471 million total impressions. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks all of our 2024 Climate Justice partners: LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, Sierra Club, California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, LA City Council member Curran D. Price Jr., the California Wellness Foundation, MWD, AQMD, and the Port of Los Angeles. Caring about the climate, caring about the community, changing the conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580. 1580. Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis, Smiley, and Carlos Whitaker as we get you ready for 2025 and to help you be more curious this year, to dig deeper wells, to be a better human being by seeing, by freeing. Some great advice has come our way in this hour, courtesy of best-selling author, podcaster, and renowned thought leader, Carlos Whitaker. Carlos, the last of your books that I want to tap into by way of some good advice, I think, that we can wrestle with over the next 12 months. The book is called Kill the Spider, Getting Rid of What's Holding You Back. Kill the Spider, Getting Rid of What's Holding You Back. Everybody makes, not everybody, but certainly many people make New Year's resolutions at the start of the year, and a few weeks in, they're being held back by those same things. Talk to me about how we get rid of what's holding us back this year.
So this goes back to my father, and this is a great story that he told me when I was having a hard time getting past a behavior that was ruining my life. And I was like, Dad, I can't seem to get past this thing. And he goes, Carlos, let me tell you a story. And I was like, Dad, I ain't got time for your stories. He goes, let me tell you a story. When I was in Panama preaching my very first revival, I gave the invitation, and nobody came to the front of the church. But one very old lady came to the front, and she took her time, and she was crying, and she said, Pastor, can you please pray that God would clean the cobwebs from my life? And my dad said he prayed, clean the cobwebs from her life. He said, Carlos, the next night, she came back to the front again, and she goes, can you pray harder that he would clean the cobwebs from my life? So my dad said he put a little salt and pepper on his prayer and prayed, Lord, clean the cobwebs from missing. I mean, it's his life. Ha! He says, Carlitos, the third night of the revival, that same old woman came to the front of that church, and she was still crying. And she said, Pastor, one more time, can you please pray God would clean the cobwebs? And my dad said, no, we've been praying the wrong prayer. We're not going to pray that he cleans the cobwebs. We're going to pray that he kills the spider. And when he said that, Tavis, something inside of me changed. And he said, I've watched you your entire life, Carlitos, clean the cobwebs in your life. You can no longer clean the cobwebs. You got to kill the spider. So let me tell you, in 2025, we can stop cleaning the cobwebs. And really quickly, let me tell you in my book, I can unpack it in 30 seconds. A spider is an agreement you have made with a lie. You see, these are the things that are keeping us back from fulfilling our resolutions. We believe a lie, and so we hang on to that lie. But a cobweb is a medicating behavior that brings comfort to the lie. So suddenly, that medicating behavior is alcohol, pornography, shopping, gossip, all these things that we're trying to stop doing, those are just the cobwebs. You got to break the agreement with the lie. When you break the agreement with the lie, you kill the spider, and the cobwebs go away.
Mic drop. Kill the spider. Getting rid of what's holding you back. He did that nicely. Our remaining moments for Carlos Whitaker when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
This statement has not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I was always tired, with weekly bouts of indigestion. A friend asked me, when was the last time you did a detox? Never, I said. So she recommended Active Liver.
Our liver works hard every day to remove toxins from processed foods and unclean air and water. But too many toxins can overwhelm the liver, causing it to actually store toxins in our body fat. Low energy, brain fog, headaches, bloating, and skin irritation are all telltale signs that we need to act. Water or juice fasts can help, but often require days or weeks of feeling tired and sick. Thankfully, there's an easier way. Active Liver from New Nordic is a natural supplement that helps your liver effectively eliminate toxins on a daily basis, leaving you feeling better with more energy and less bloating.
Within a week of taking Active Liver, I was feeling better, and now I have more energy than I've had in years.
Available in both tablet or delicious gummies, you can find Active Liver online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS or Meijer grocery.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Speaking of rich, that was rich. It's not about cleaning out the cobwebs in 2025. It's about killing the spider. Not the same thing. That's a powerful story your father told you, Carlos. I love that story.
Yes. Thank you, man. Thank you. It's changed my life.
No, I can only imagine. All right, so I want to just sort of recap. I got about 3 minutes left here, and I want to just sort of recap for those who may have tuned in late. Of course, that's why we do podcasts. Yeah, as I say at the top of every show, if you miss any part of this show or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always go to any of our platforms and find the podcast of my programs. And so this is one of those podcasts you'll want to get and listen to over and over and over again to get you through this year if you missed any part of this conversation with Carlos Whitaker, best-selling author, podcaster, and renowned thought leader. Let's just recap that B, that C, and that free Carlos Whitaker.
Be human, see humans, free humans. The only way to truly be is you got to take care of yourself. You got to slow down. You got to move at Godspeed. You got to reduce the amount of stuff that you're taking in so you got enough to give out. And once you give it out, you can start giving it to people that you see that, that may drive you crazy, that don't look like you, think like you, talk like you, believe like you, all those things like you. I think it's so important for us to see people that aren't like us, right? And that's that whole curiosity thing that I started the conversation with. I believe that curiosity is going to lead to healing, but it's not a quick step. It's curiosity leads to empathy. Empathy leads to relationship. Relationship leads to trust, and trust leads to change. And I'm telling you, we got a lot of work to do these next 4 years. We got a lot of change that we got to be strong and sturdy and steadfast in. And then ultimately free people. That's that last piece. I think everybody is desperate to be freed by something in some way, shape, or form, and we can be a small part of that freedom every single day. Be, see, and free.
We also talked in this hour, Carlos, about digging deeper wells. Put a fine point on it for me.
Dig a deeper well. If you feel like everything just kind of is mediocre in your life, I promise you, find out one thing that you feel like you've been called to and just dig a little deeper. But my father, he's got dementia, and I can tell that he's dug deep wells in his faith because he may forget who I am, but he does not forget who his God is.
And finally, killing the spider, not just cleaning out the cobwebs. I've got 60 seconds left here. It occurs to me as you share this story that a lot of folk are scared of spiders. You take my point.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're scared of spiders, right? I think they're creepy, they're crawly. But here's the thing. We're not scared of their cobwebs, right? If you leave for vacation and you come home after 3 weeks, there's going to be cobwebs all over your house. You clean those cobwebs, but I promise you, if you don't kill the spider, the cobwebs are going to come back. So you got to find the spider, and here's how you do it. Identify the spider, identify the lie you believe. Locate it, find it in your life, corner it, and then you destroy it by, instead of focusing on the pain points, focus on the promise that's going to bring you out of the pain. That's how you kill the spider.
What a rich hour this has been with Carlos Whitaker. His books, How to Human, 3 Ways to Share Life Beyond What Distracts, Divides, and Disconnects Us. His books, Reconnected, How 7 Screen-Free Weeks with Monks and Amish Farmers Helped Me Recover the Lost Art of Being Human. His books, Kill the Spider, Getting Rid of What's Holding You Back. What a delightful hour, Carlos Whitaker. We'll do it again between now and December. Until then, have a great year.
Sure will.
Thank you for your time, my friend.
Happy New Year, friend.
Happy New Year to you. Another hour of motivation when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bray Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. A major winter storm that produced record snowfall in the Midwest is now impacting the Mid-Atlantic. The storm is causing major flight cancellations. According to FlightAware, over 1,500 flights have been canceled so far today, and over 1,900 have been delayed at last check. Today marks 4 years since the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot, where supporters of former President Trump stormed the Capitol, resulting in 5 deaths and the evacuation of lawmakers. Shamsuddin rifle in Texas in November. The FBI stated he traveled to Egypt and Canada before the attack. And Canadian Prime Minister